The Do This podcast is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network. Join Chad Hyams and guest Sarita Dua as they explore relationship building in real estate, moving beyond leads to fostering authentic connections. Sarita is a seasoned real estate professional based in Portland, Oregon, with over 22 years of experience in the industry. Sarita shares her experience with Brivity, emphasizing the power of consolidating databases for a streamlined, effective approach. They discuss strategies for using tech to enhance personal interactions, the value of video communication, and adapting to market shifts by increasing meaningful conversations. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Do This podcast, presented by Brevity.
Hey everybody, it's Chad Hyams here. Bob Stewart not with us this week, and I'm going to tell you where he is, right? Bob is in Universal Studios being scared out of his wits, right? I don't know why Bob finds enjoyment in this. I will ask him on a future episode when I have him here. Yet every year he goes down to Scream Fest or whatever they call it at Universal Studios and gets scared to no extent. Him and his wife love it. I get the pleasure, though, of having Bob out of the way so that I could talk to Sarita today, who's joining us. So Sarita, welcome to the Do This Brivity webinar.
Thanks so much, Chad, for having me. It's an honor to be here.
We are the ones honored to have you. Let me ask you before we get scared. Yes, would you go to a haunted house type thing, or are you like, no way you could drag me there?
I'm a no way, and I'm certainly a one and done. I'm certainly not a no way, and then let's go do this again and again and again. That's crazy. Yeah. Sorry, Bob. I love you, but you're nutso.
Yes, he's absolutely nuts on this. Now, some would say you're a little nuts too, because while we're talking today, if people might be watching a replay of this, while we're talking, you're 10-ish days away from your how manyth New York Marathon?
This is my 5th New York Marathon in a row, starting 2021 every year. Plus, I've done Honolulu. So it'll be my 6th marathon. And you're right, Chad. Every time I finish, like the whole time, I'm like, I don't even know if I can make it. I don't know how this is going to go. And then I say never again. And then like literally the next day, when can we sign up? It is an illness.
You know, it sounds like the real estate industry, right? Every day we're like, I don't know if I can make it to the end of the day. I don't know if I can make it through this hour of making calls. And then when we're done, we get that energy that says, yeah, let's do it all over again. All right, before I just keep going and run right into things with that, give us a little, who are you? Where are you? If someone's got a referral for you, et cetera, let them know how big the team is, all the good stuff about you.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks. So my name is Sarita Dua. I am based in Portland, Oregon. I run a small team. We're powered by Place, and we have 4 agents, 2, a director of ops and a TC. So 2 admin staff, 4 agents, and myself. We are growing. And we've always kind of had a small and mighty team, but I'm really excited about the growth that we are embarking on and have been steadily focused on. So based in Portland, Oregon, I've been doing this for 22 years, a lot of referral business, both with agents as well as clients. And I like to think of ourselves as a kind of a small and mighty team that's both high tech and high touch. I come from a tech background originally. I was at Intel and then at a bunch of startups. And I do think technology, I mean, we can't talk about things without talking about AI and the next greatest easy button. Technology they're all tools so that we can do what we do best, which is being belly to belly with our people. And so I love that the tech enables, but the high touch relationships are what the name of the game is for me and how I've built my business.
You know, I love that you said that right out of the gap, because so many people think technology should just do all the business for them. And you're reminding us what the lesson has always been, which is tech just makes it so that we can spend more time doing the touch and that face-to-face opportunity, belly-to-belly with our people, because the tech should make it easier to do everything else.
100%.
Okay. How far is the flight from Portland to New York?
It's about 5 hours, give or take. 5.5 going, 4.5 coming back.
And how long will it take you to run the marathon?
Oh, so I'm like a 6 miler, 6 hour. I'm like, I shuffle. I'm not like
So
a
you
runner.
actually can fly all the way
Yeah,
across the country, even oh, wow, that's impressive.
correct.
All right,
Correct.
that's impressive what we got there. All right, so let's get into this a little bit. You're a tech person, and you said to me before the call, I did not know this. You said you were one of the early adopters of Brivity, right? I mean, I'm such an early adopter of Brivity. I remember when Ben came up with the name that he was saying, I'm going to call it this, and I remember looking at him and saying, that might be one of the dumbest names I've ever heard. Like, what does that even mean? And now, of course, it shows what I know versus what he knows. What's the lesson you just learned from being an early adopter? Because I will bet there's some people watching this going, boy, I had that product. I haven't touched it in forever, or whatever it might be. What are some of those early adopter lessons?
Yeah, I mean, Chad, I know this is also religious, but like I'm an Apple girl and there's a lot of Android people, but like I was the person who like stood in line before the first Apple iPhone. And I
Wow.
remember it well. So I am not afraid of trying things early, knowing that sometimes you pay a price where it's just not completely baked. I do remember when Brevity first came out, it was pretty much a very sort of detailed transaction workflow manager more than anything. And it was super kludgy. And I do look at who's behind things, but I'm also like, I wouldn't say shiny penny, but I'm like, I'm going to try this. And if it's going to work, like we'll bake it in. And if it doesn't, we don't. And you know what? There is a cost to adopt things and try them. You really do have to know what your goals are. For me, when I first had Brivity, I was not a fan. We couldn't cancel fast enough. We did give it a fair shake, but it was kludgy. It was buggy. Support was hard to reach. And so when I had the opportunity to check out Brivity again, I'll be honest, I had a little bit of that PTSD of like, oh, I've seen this before. And I'm here to tell you, just sort of humble pie. I mean, things change, people change, technology changes. And I think I guess the one thing I would just say is be open-minded to change. And if something was horrible or just didn't meet your needs even, it might have been because that was an iteration that pivoted many times and it doesn't even resemble, besides having the name, what it was before. So I'm one of those people that are like, wow, I'm so happy I was open-minded to give it a different shot, because it really was it's so much more than just one thing. And it took me just being open-minded to embrace all the features.
Okay, so you used it, you left it, you came back to it. When you came back, you dumped everything into the one place, right? You moved it all in. What was the aha takeaway from bringing everything back together under one roof where it needed to be, where you could finally see everything?
Well, I'm going to just own it. I'm a control freak and maybe a little paranoid. So I actually had multiple databases, and it was kind of by design. I had my holiday list in a spreadsheet. I had my past clients that were like my VIPs, that they were in a different database that was just for my sphere. I had what I would call years worth of internet prospects and leads in another database. And when I finally, I don't know what, it took me 22 years to do this, because I was actually on some of the tech evaluation committees for different CRM companies. I just was like, you know what? I'm going to go all in and put everything in one spot, like you just said. And that to me was the biggest game changer. Instead of thinking about what could go wrong and keeping everything separate, I started thinking about, well, what could be the power and what could go right here if we put everything together. So I had all these, again, names and lists. I had 20,000 people in my phone. I mean, I even have the person from Nigeria who's going to get $20 million emailing me. I have all these names. I put them all in one spot. I deduplicated, and I could see the total sort of book of business I have with all these people. And Chad, I'm telling you, one of the reasons I've had this phrase of, oh, I have a small and mighty team, is I used to always think with scarcity thinking that if I attract people to my world, although they're going to, in our world, you do the work and you prospect too, but I also want to be able to give them opportunities. And I felt like if I attracted a bunch of agents and I didn't have opportunities, I'm somewhat responsible for these people eating and feeding their families. And once I saw how many people, I have over 40,000 people in my Brivity. Once I saw how many people I have, and granted, they're not all perfect, right? The Nigerian prince is still in there too, but Once I put everybody in one spot, I realized I don't have a lack of opportunity. I have a lack of staffing. And now that's one of the reasons we're hiring. We know we're looking at our Brivity scorecard and we're looking at our turnover rate. And although it's gotten way better, it could be significantly improved if we had more people interacting with the people in our world. So that's what Brivity did for me in terms of putting everything in one spot and not having these silos and seeing how much opportunity we really have.
Now, you mentioned earlier the tech versus the touch. So how are you using Brivity, one, to increase the touching, right? Letting Brivity do some of that. And then two, how are you using Brivity so you can have more of the personal time to do that in-person touching that is that next stage that needs to happen? So let's attack that tech to touch in both areas.
I think for me, the biggest thing we have is that we have everybody in our database in two ways. If you are a buyer, you are on a listing alert. So anything that matches what you're looking for will be delivered to your mailbox. And if you're
even the Nigerian prince?
Even the Nigerian prince, although okay. I do think I might have him on my do not call invalid trash area now. But and everybody who wants to be looking for property, anyone who's looking for property is getting an alert. Anyone who has an address and is a homeowner or is curious about an address is getting a home value report. And so knowing your market value and or the listing alert, those two things are the key things because Brivity's just doing that automatically, right? Chad, you're looking for 3-bedroom, 2 baths in Portland. You're getting it. You live on 123 Main Street. You're wondering how much your home is worth. Granted, it's a bot that's giving you an approximate valuation of your home. You're getting an alert. Then what we do is we just go into our filters every day and we contact the hand raisers, the people that have actually clicked on home, knowing what their home value is or listing alert. So that heavy lifting and giving people what they want. I mean, I'm a Buffiniite from the beginning. I like raspberry lemonade recipes like the rest of them, but this is just exactly information delivered to the things that you care about. And then I can almost be the spy and be like, wow, Chad viewed this property 3 times. My script's pretty easy. Chad, hey, how's it going? I noticed you might be interested in 123 Main Street. Do you want to go take a look at it? Do you have any questions I can answer? It's just becomes just so natural and conversational based on what they're doing. So that piece of automating it and me not searching manually or thinking about it or setting a timer or thinking about doing CMAs for people, that has taken a lot of my mind space away because everything is automated. And then I can see the hand raisers. And then I'm just having quality conversations, right? This is a contact sport. We cannot control how many agreements and buyers we sign and or deals we put together that pen and close, but we can control the number of calls we have, the real estate conversations we're having. And if I can go on my soapbox a little bit too, is I think we play this game where everybody's a lead. These are people. These are relationships. Everyone in my database is a current or a future relationship. I'm not out there acquiring leads. I am essentially growing my database organically as well as adding value to the people in my world. And I know we call them leads because that is kind of what they are, but I hate that we dehumanize this. And this whole thing is about humans and how we can help them wherever they are in their real estate journey. And so we can make their dreams come true by understanding what their goals are and having conversations. And it's those number of conversations in our market. And today we're having more conversations than we've ever needed to have the results that we want. And we know that and we measure it. Instead of 20 conversations a day, we're having 30 a day. And just the game change that's been of just 50% increase in the number of people we're talking to has caused us to stay at or above market when the market in general has been down year over year.
Okay, there's like so much. I need to rewind and go back and listen and say, okay, that one and that one and that one. Let's work backwards. That right there is the thing everybody needs to hear on this session of do this, right? Everybody's complaining, Sarita, that the market sucks. The market's down. The market's hard. I had someone that I'm coaching the other day say to me, oh my gosh, this house has been on the market for 90 days. I don't know what to do, right? And I'm like, that's normal, right? You've been raised in this lie to you. And what you're saying in there is what everybody needs to hear. If you want to do this one thing that Sarita's telling you, realize that the 20 contacts you made 2 years ago and the 20 contacts you made last year are the reason your business has gone in a downward spiral. You got to increase that, right? And the way you knew to go from 20 to 30 was tracking the results using the tool like Brivity, which is letting you know that, oh, our ratio is not 1 to 20, it's 1 to 30 now, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I don't think we have to call them leads.
No, we don't.
I think that that's a brilliant mindset shift right there. I don't call past clients. They're still clients. They just don't come to visit my office on an annual basis like a doctor for a physical or a dentist every 6 months. They come every 5 or 7 years to buy, sell, consider what their options are. They're still always a client. Treat them that way. What a great mindset shift, Sarita, to say, what if we stop calling them leads and start calling them relationships?
100%.
How has that changed the way you and your team have had success or treated those leads that are relationships we're just building still?
I think it's subtle, but it has been a shift because I do think leads, you think automation, you think robotic, you do think scripted. What are scripts, right? They're just stories that we tell over and over that roll off our tongue. And the more we are scripted, the more we can then think on our feet confidently and take the conversations to where they need to go. And so I feel like by just thinking from leads to humans, I switch from scripts to questions. Like, I'm just inquisitive. It's out of curiosity. Tell me what your goals are. Why do you want to look at that property? Would you be interested in the same house? I saw this house. It sounds like it's exactly what you want, but in this area, I wanted to bounce this off of you. You just have these conversations. And so I think by going from leads to relationships, we're going from sometimes inauthentic to true authentic conversations where the focus is them and their goals. I'm the happiest. I mean, this sounds like really trite to say, but if I can help someone for a long time to then decide that buying is not for them, I was still a reason that they made that informed decision. And guess what? They're a referrer to me for life because I didn't stick them into something that wasn't right for them. And so to be able to be part of that of like, hey, I helped them get to the point where they made an informed decision. And so as we do this, we just get smarter, right? I know some of my buyer's agents, I coach them too on, you're spending a lot of time looking at this and finally I can see the light bulb. Oh, I now know what they want. Once we figure out what they want, we actually short circuit that process of like, I know exactly what you want. And that house you want to see, I've been in that home and I'm telling you, you're going to not like it. I'm happy to show it to you, but it's just like the one you didn't like with the non-open kitchen, right? And so getting confident enough to question and coming from a place where we really, truly want to help them, it really does resonate with our clients.
Powerful, right? And how many people out there have the mindset of, I'm going on this listing appointment to convince these people not to sell their house? Right. Instead of going on the appointment of, I'm desperate to earn a commission. I'll do anything to get their house on the market. Maybe it's not in their best interest. And it sounds, Sarita, like you and your team, because you've shifted that mindset from lead to relationship, actually will go into a listing appointment with is it really best for you to sell and sell right now? Or should we just be developing our relationship to a higher level?
100%. It's exactly right. And it's just been a game changer because, again, we attract the people who need our help, and the people who don't need our help right now appreciate the honesty.
So I'm hearing from you, to summarize some of the Brivity stuff, right? Everyone's on a listing alert that has an address or is stalking a specific address. Buyers are getting they're getting the property updates that are being sent to them. We're making sure that we're following. It sounds to me like you're following the Brivity day in a life concept that's there of who's raising their hands, and it helps you sort and say, oh, these people have been on your site in the last 24 hours and you haven't called or whatever it might be. Yet you sound like you have the business that's built upon relationships, yet you understand that that doesn't mean you sit back and wait for them to contact you. What about things you're doing to develop your business that might not even be a part of Brivity that someone should be listening to because they're like, oh my gosh, this woman is saying what I've always believed. It's about the people, not about just making a check. What are some of the other things you might be doing that maybe you're using Brivity to get it done and maybe you're not?
Yeah, I mean, Brivity, like you say, is the engine, and but there are things I'm doing that are outside of Brivity that really build onto the same concept. One of the things I do is I religiously, faithfully send 2 videos a month to my database, and that video is important because Chad, I had this revelation, like, oh, I'm going to be on a video. Does my hair look okay? I just had braces. Should I wait till I get the braces come off and then should I shoot it? And I made it all about me and how I look and how I felt and, all of that. Once I realized that it's not about me, it's about them and it's information that I feel they need to know. My brand is Ask Sarita. If you have any questions, real estate related, ask me. And so the idea with the videos was, hey, if someone asks me a question, I take it personally. It's almost like I didn't do a good job predicting that this would come up because they had to ask me. And then if Chad asked me that question, let's say you asked me, should I pre-inspect my home before I list it? If Chad's wondering that, someone else might be wondering that. So let me shoot a short educational video, less than 2 minutes, answering that question and send it to everyone. Here's where Brivity comes in again. I choose a topic. I don't make it about me. I make it about what I think they need to hear. I'm pretty not polished. I mean, I don't look like I'm not wearing sweats or anything, but it's like one take. I might flub the words a little bit, but it's authentic and it's me. Well, then my call to action in that video is, do you want, more information? If you're a homeowner and you want to know your home value, click here. And if you're a buyer and you're looking for properties, click here. And I still add people to my database, as well as I view reports on who interacted with that video, because those are the people I'm going to call. So the video thing, though, was sort of brilliant. And in hindsight, like, it came to me like how powerful the video is I was in a BNI leads group. I started my business every Tuesday at 7 a.m. I would be in a leads group where we were, one realtor, one mortgage person, one insurance person, and we would exchange leads. For me, we joke, there was more haircuts and home cleaning than there were real estate deals. So I viewed it as a way to build my contact database and vendor database, even if I was giving more than I was receiving in terms of referrals. Well, fast forward 5 years later, after BNI ended, I met, Lisa, Lisa called me. She's like, Sarita, I'd like to list my house. And I was already like embarrassed because I feel like I hadn't stayed in touch with Lisa as much as I should have. So I go out to the listing appointment and I start with like my market update of what's going on. And I thank her, of course, for remembering me. And she's like, Sarita, what are you talking about? I watch all your videos. In fact, I know that inventory is 3.1 months. and she was like quoting my videos back to me. And what I realized is if you're real, you're actually in a relationship with them, whether you realize it or not, and they feel like you're in touch. And so that's something that I've been doing because I feel like it's a great way to get information out, and it's a great way for you to be you to your people.
I love it. I mean, John Maxwell has no idea he's in a relationship with me as I read his books again and again and again, right? And refer back to them on a regular basis. He wouldn't know me if he bumped into me, yet we are in relationship. Let's talk about that video a little bit again. How long are the videos approximately?
They're 2 minutes or less.
2 minutes or less. Okay, so we're getting the point across to people. Where are you putting these videos? I mean, are you just putting them in an email to your database? Do you have a YouTube channel? Are you hosting them on your Brivity website? Where are they reels on social media? Yeah. Where are you putting these?
I haven't done great on social. That's a huge opportunity for me. I do post them on Facebook and on LinkedIn, but I don't do as much with Reels or Instagram with those videos. I have them professionally transcribed. So they're transcribed with the outro music, intro music, outro music, and some graphics. If I do have a stat that I'm using, I'm citing a source, I'll have a link or a graphic to the source. So I do pay someone to do just sort of the back end stuff. Because for me, what I pay versus how much time it would take or how much staff time it would take for me It's just something that they do. And then I host it on my website. I also email it out as an email blast to everyone on my email list, which they obviously can unsubscribe. And I notice it's interesting. Some topics are hotter than others. And it's also the ones, again, does staging work? Yes or no? Or why should you wait? Why should you sell in the winter versus waiting till the spring, right? Sometimes if it's a hook or if it's a little controversial, I get actually even more engagement because I shouldn't even say controversial, just contrarian to what people would expect. And so it's just a great way to have dialogue. And again, for me, I still feel like even if no one watched the videos, or if I reach out to one or two people who might have had the same question that you did, Chad, about if you should pre-inspect your home. By the way, this is the world according to me. I actually say why I think it's actually not a great idea. And then there's few situations where it may be good, or like our home warranties, do they make sense? I might have some feelings on where they don't, but then there are a few instances where they do. So I just sort of talk about the pros and cons. And if I can even reach a handful of people that needed that information, I feel like I'm doing a service that's needed.
Okay, so you answer Chad's question about should I pre-inspect my home? And Bob comes along 3 months later into your world. Maybe he's been watching your videos, maybe he hasn't, maybe he's been getting them, maybe he's new to your database, it doesn't matter. Bob asks you, should I pre-inspect my home? Do you drive him to where the videos are hosted and say, hey, here's a link to a video where I talked about this and you might find some other questions that you want answered in advance? Or do you say, crap, I did that 3 months ago. Why weren't you in my database then?
No, it's exactly all of the above. I mean, if I'm sitting there with Bob at their kitchen table and they ask me, should I pre-inspect? I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to answer that. Go watch my video. I'm going to answer that. And then as I leave and I follow up and I thank them for their time, I was just saying, I was thinking about your question. And this is a short video that I just shot a few weeks ago about the topic, and it might give you some insight. And so I will use it as a follow-up. I will use it when there's a direct question. But again, at the end of the day, the hand raisers raise their hand when they're ready. And until they're ready, they're not. And so it doesn't matter what you did or how many videos you did until they're actually at that place where they're now a buyer or seller. It doesn't matter, right? And so I just view it as a way to, again, reinforce a topic and invite them to kind of watch that library if they have other questions. But I don't ever want it to feel like we do when we call an airline or a customer service, for your printer or something. And you're like, I just have to go to this FAQ because I can't get a human. They'll always get me, but it's a great way to know that I'm out there trying to share information that's helpful and useful.
And folks, it becomes a great library where every time you send out the next video, you can always put in your email, right? Hey, come back and check out recent questions that have been asked. Maybe one of them was yours. Right? And send people back to that page, as well as, are you a buyer? Are you a seller? And when Sarita gets even better at putting them on Reels, which will then auto post into Facebook, just so you can do it just in one place, right? Now, all of a sudden, who knows who's showing up, and we're creating new relationship opportunities, not just new leads.
100%.
Sarita, I'm giving you 1 minute until the top of the hour here where I click the button and we go away. Thank you so much for everything you shared. I'm giving you 1 minute. Bring something back up that you want everyone to be left with, or share something with us in a minute that didn't come up, yet it's on your heart to share with whoever's watching.
Yeah, I think I overthink a lot of things. A lot of us do. We are control freaks, and we sometimes just don't do anything at all because we're overthinking it. Embrace systems and go all in. For me, putting everything in one spot was huge. I was also the kid that was so excited about Halloween candy. I would get all the candy, and then it'd be Thanksgiving or Christmas, and I didn't even eat all the candy. The candy acquisition was so exciting that I didn't do anything with it even. I couldn't even eat it all. So don't get too caught up in this quantity game. Make sure that it's quality conversations. Last but not least, gamify everything. We're obsessed with our scorecard. We were horrible, red arrows going down on everything. And now month over month, we're seeing huge improvements. Are we perfect in every area? No. But the strides that we're seeing makes you just keep want to doing it. So just embrace it. You're going to get better, and the win is the results.
Love it. We wish you the best on yet another New York Marathon. I will be watching. Just so you know, when you're like wanting to walk, slow down too much, no, Chad's watching.
Chad's going to be like, pick it up, Sarita. I know you do.
You might get a text that says, you slow down too much. Let's go, girl. All right. We thank you so much for joining us, folks. Hopefully Bob will be back next week, depending how scared he was this weekend. Whether he comes out from underneath the blanket he'll be hiding in under his bed. Until then, folks, we'll see you on the next Do This.